Cynthia. I'm a writer. I'm an observer and celebrator of life. This is an excerpt from Standing in the Middle of the Road, written by Cynthia Withers Turnquist. She looks so small. She's always been a tiny lady, but that never dictated her stature. Even in heels, she barely stands 5 feet tall, but for some reason she always seems so grand. I always feel like I'm looking up when I talk to her, except for today. I can barely see her as I make it to the top of the hill, grateful to be off the main road, the dust softly coating my bare feet and ankles like a second skin. I shade my eyes from the sun that's slowly dragging itself across the pond's surface, outlining every stone, bush, and tree that just hours ago went vaguely unnoticed. Each ripple in the water, suddenly magnified by its own reflection, is traced back to the gentle movement of Mama's feet. "Evelyn's biscuits are getting cold while you're out here playing in the pond," I call from the top of the hill. Mama's head hangs heavy, as if burdened by the weight of her long auburn hair that drapes over her shoulder. She slowly brings the wide-brimmed straw hat that dangles from her delicate fingertips and places it on her head. "Have you ever looked at something a million times and suddenly you don't recognize it anymore?" says Mama without turning away from the pond. I slowly make my way down the hill and grab the ends of my skirt as I skim the surface of the water. The brisk coolness amplifying senses that have otherwise been muted while cleansing the layer of dust that had settled downward from my calves. You know, I've lived here all my life. I've walked these roads before they were roads. I thought I had every pine cone and each pebble memorized. But today, I don't recognize them at all. I walked out the door this morning and I stepped onto a road that I've never been. "It's okay, Mama. Let's just go home. Everything will be okay once we get home," I say with the hope that she'll turn and follow me back up the hill. I thought maybe I would stop and dip my feet in the water because your grandmother once told me that sometimes you don't always remember a memory. Sometimes you can only feel a memory. After a long pause, Mama continues, "I thought if I got my feet wet, it would help me feel them. I haven't felt much of anything these last few days, baby girl. I guess I just needed to feel something." I grabbed Mama's hand and led her out of the water. I kneeled down and with the hem of my skirt dried her feet. We walked home barefoot without saying a word.